Thank you for coming to join me. It's the Mass Critic, and we're with the Dark Corner Diaries, where we scour the internet for the known and unknown. Things, weird things that we might not know when we're just sitting around, just doing our everyday life. I'm weird, and I like weird stuff. You know what I mean? So come on in, man. Thank you for taking the time out to spend time with me. You could be any place else, but you decide to be here with me. And for that, I'm truly appreciative. Look around, comment, like, subscribe. I'm not going to ask you because if you really fuck with me, you do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into these stories or these videos and see what's going on. Okay, I had to look at it twice. Man, it looked kind of real to me. They're on the airplane. I don't know what she's saying. Sound like Spanish or whatever. I got to learn Spanish at one point in time. I learned a little bit in school, but then it didn't school away. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, it looks real to me. I don't know what the devil, if it's a, like it looked like a fortress or something. Might be American made. Our armed forces be doing a whole lot of stuff behind our back, so I ain't no telling. But anyway, let's get on to the next and see what's crazy. Oh man, yeah, that definitely looked real, especially with the person just sitting up there like it's zooming in, it's zooming out, then from what I see, look like looking down back down at the highway and everything. So yeah, definitely look real. Y'all tell me what y'all think. We going to the next video.
Special here. This UFO footage was just shown publicly today after being hidden for 31 years. It was filmed in 1995 near Groom Lake, Area 51, by a researcher, a man named Chuck Clark. He and a friend captured this glowing orange disc hovering, not stable. It shifts, it tilts, it undulates, and then he does something very strange. He doesn't release it. He keeps it for 3 decades. No selling of it, no publicity, just a tape basically sitting in a box for 31 years. And now it's finally been shown. Enter Logan Paul. So Logan Paul offered to buy this footage from Chuck Clark some years back, and Clark refused. Logan at the time was wearing a hidden camera and secretly recorded the screen when Chuck Clark was playing it for him. Logan just showed this footage on Jesse Michael's American Alchemy podcast that just aired today, and Bob Lazar was the guest. Check this out. Watch it closely.
And they have a camera resting on the armrest, pointed through the front windshield.
And then it cuts to under the dashboard. and you see something very clearly illuminating like the top of the dashboard, and they're like hunkered underneath the car and they're whispering to each other like, I think it's out there, like I don't know what it is, maybe we should go out, and they're like kind of scared.
Then something appears just beyond the glass. The craft is hovering extremely close to the car. It's orange and slightly wobbling or undulating in place as if it's on a wave. You can hear the two guys whispering.
It's out there. Stop it. Over there.
So this footage, it doesn't prove that the object was of non-human origin, but the original tape still exists and Chuck Clark is still around. Well, let me know, do you think this footage vindicates Bob Lazar in any way because of how he described this exact same type of craft in 1989? Let me know.
Okay. Now I seen the movie with Bob Lazar. I've been looking at Bob Lazar for a while, him and his interviews and everything. Anyway, so yeah, I actually believe Bob Lazar and the things that he said. And he just had a movie that just come out recently where they're talking about Groom Lake and all of that. And I think that may be one of the aliens one that we have possibly, gotten and taken over and controlling ourselves and everything. So I don't know, maybe it could be an alien, but me myself, in my personal opinion, because he talked about when he was at Groom Lake, they had like hangars and hangars full of alien aircraft. And he saw one of them went up in the air. And he called it the sports model edition and everything. So I'm thinking that since it's close to Groom Lake, one we done jack from our, you know what I'm talking about, from the aliens or something. Anyway, on to the next.
Secretary of War to begin releasing government files relating to UFOs. So I'm pleased to report today that this process is well underway, and we found many very interesting documents, I must say. And the first releases will begin very, very soon.
Let's start back on Valentine's Day when President Obama said,
"Are aliens real?"
They're real, but I haven't seen them. And
5 days later, on February 19th, President Trump responded by stating that Obama,
I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. Well, he made a big mistake.
Then he teased that he may declassify that information to get Obama out of trouble. Later that same night, Trump posted on Truth Social that he is, in fact, directing Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, to identify and release government files related to aliens and UFOs. To which Hegseth quickly responded by posting an alien and salute emoji. 3 days later, the Secretary was questioned about if he's prepared to disclose extraterrestrial life to the world, to which he replied,
Of course. I mean, we've got our people working on it right now.
However, he possibly misspoke about this effort by associating it with an executive order instead of a presidential directive. Then, 4 days later, on February 27th, General Neil McCaslin, who served as the commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patt, vanished into thin air. His disappearance is easy to dismiss as unrelated to the UFO topic and purely coincidental. But it became harder to deny a possible connection when Representative Burchett identified McCaslin as a UFO gatekeeper during an interview a few weeks later on March 30th.
He's the guy that was had a lot of nuclear secrets and was allegedly the gatekeeper. And I've been told by several sources that he was the gatekeeper for the UFO stuff.
Another possible coincidence is that the very same night that McCaslin went missing, the Department of War Rapid Response Twitter account posted a video about sharing UAP-related information on the National Archives site through Arrow to
begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, UAPs, and UFOs.
Having Arrow participate in this UFO transparency effort was not warmly received due to the lack of trust their organization has earned from both the UFO community and Congress, as indicated by Representative Luna's comments on March 22nd when she said that she will recommend that Arrow be disbanded and defunded. A few days earlier, on March 17th, reports came out that the government had quietly registered the websites alien.gov and aliens.gov. Whether these websites are related to UAP transparency remains to be seen, but as of April 18th, they have reportedly been moved from a park state to having a live server supporting the domains. On March 27th, JD Vance shook things up when he told Benny Johnson,
.gov, I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a long discussion.
Then, 4 days later, on the 31st of March, Representative Luna sent a letter to the Secretary of War requesting the release of 46 UAP-related videos with a deadline of March 16th. Of note, the full 4-minute version of the gimbal video was not requested, but it's not too late, and if you see this, Rep. Luna, please add it. That catches us up to the comments Trump made at the Turning Point event about the UAP documents being released very soon. To which Representative Luna followed up on the 18th by clarifying that all files are being released, including documents and the 46 videos she requested. And then she recommended that we all should read the Book of Enoch, which is an apocryphal text that is basically a prequel to Genesis 6, where the Nephilim are discussed, which are essentially a product of interbreeding between a non-human intelligence and humans. Which sounds eerily similar to the comments former Representative Matt Gaetz made on March 31st, where he stated,
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication.
Pretty wild stuff. Now we wait and see what the next few days or weeks bring us. But I recommend placing your seatbacks and trays in their upright locked positions and make sure your seatbelts are firmly secured because it might get a little bumpy. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm glad things are beginning to move. You know what I'm saying? It's so many things that are being hidden from us that it doesn't make any sense. And it's the 1% that is 1-2%, whatever, the top that is controlling everything. That is deceiving, having us being deceived. I'm glad Trump is in the way, and he's willing to shake things up. I know politics shouldn't be into the fray of things. I ain't gonna tell you don't know I fuck with Trump. I know you're gonna say you don't like black people and all of that, and man, listen, let me tell you something. Black people don't like black people, and black people don't like other races. I work in sales, from tech sales, all that. I do a lot. I've been working in sales for quite a while. But anyway, I've talked to people that have said that they turned, they wouldn't have talked to me if I was another race. If I had black people told me they only talked to me because I was black. I've had the same black people been nasty to me. I've had white people been nasty to me. So when you're dealing with sales, a lot of things come out. That's another subject as far as talking to people and, these people, the things they say on that, we on something else. But I like the fact that Trump, is he pushes the button. Everybody's scared that he's going to push that button. And I like that because when you run in the country, people got to know that you're willing to push the button because they're pushing on us. It's in human nature. Quick story. There was this story about this frog and the scorpion, right? So it rained and it rained, and rained and it rained and it rained and it rained. So it happened to be flooded. So what ended up happening, they pushed the scorpion back into this little dry spot, So it was cornered, but it was dry land all the way across, maybe about, say about 400-500 yards over there, about 400-500 yards away. So he saw the frog in the water just doing this thing and everything. So he asked the frog. He said, "Frog, He said, you think you can give me a ride over to that dry spot over there? The frog said, no. He said, I know what you're going to do. He said, as soon as we get over there, you're going to sting me. The scorpion said, nah, I wouldn't do that to you, man. Help me out. And the frog said, nah, not going to do it. So the long story short, the scorpion ended up convincing the frog to give him a ride on his piggyback all the way across to the dry spot. When they got over to the dry spot, as soon as they got to the dry spot, the scorpion, as soon as he touched that dry land, he stung him. The doggone frog said, man, you told me that you wasn't going to sting me. He said, it's in my nature. It's in our nature. You know, so, yeah, everybody else will push it. But no, I'm glad, you know, whether you still fuck with me or not, I can't lie. I fuck with Trump. And I'm glad that he's in office. He pushed the button. He shake things up and everything like that. And I think that he can move the needle as far as this stuff right here, dealing with these aliens and this disclosure. I mean, this conspiracy, this undercover stuff that is going on that we're not getting to the bottom of. And I hope he does that. But anyway, man, thank you for taking the time out to spend your time with me. Again, for that, I'm truly appreciative. You could have spent your time with anybody anywhere. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Comment, like, subscribe. Only if you fuck with me. Because I ain't gonna ask you, man. Because if you really fuck me, you'll do it anyway. You know what I'm talking about? So we can have more of these together. But anyway, I'm going to holler at you.